Third POV. The video finished loading and began with the same metal music and bloody logo. With the dragon slain and the princess rescued, the hero revels in gold, glory and cake. Wiz began the introduction. But they couldn't have done it without a little help. Boomstick pointed out. The sidekick. Wiz revealed the fight's theme. The people's champion would be lost without his player too. Sidekicks, huh? Mount Lady raised an eyebrow. That sounds interesting. A rather perfect matchup and concept for the students to see, given that most of them will become sidekicks to hero agencies when they graduate, most prevalently the big three. Ryukyu pointed out, looking down towards Nijire, who she already accepted a position as a sidekick under her longtime hero mentor. Miruko scoffs. You all might get sidekicks, but not me. Miruko stuck her chin up, her proud face smirking. This bunny don't need no sidekicks. Really? Ryukyu raised an eyebrow at her friend. What about when you asked me for Azui or Uraraka for an internship or work study in the future? And Midoriya for that matter. That's internships, totally different. Miruko corrected her, turning her head away in huff. And I'm just curious to see what those kids got. Not like I'm expecting any one of them to impress me enough to become a sidekick. Ryukyu rolled her eyes at her friend's long-time disdain and refusal of sidekicks and team-ups. We'll see, she replied. While they talked, Endeavor turned his thoughts towards his own sidekicks, specifically his most main and trusted sidekick, Burnin. He remembered how he left her the run of the agency while he was here overseeing Shoto's training, as well as the other students, as a guest. He also remembered how loudly she complained into his ear when he informed her of this visit extending, though he didn't tell her about the device and these videos being the true reason for his extended visit. Such as Luigi, Mario's younger brother, Wiz introduced the first fighter, and Tails the fox, Sonic's deformed, flying stalker. Boomstick introduced the latter. So, these are related to Mario and Sonic. Izuku perked up, now more interested than before, especially revolving around his counterpart's own sidekick. So, this Luigi is Mario's brother? Nijire questioned, tilting her head cutely. Do you have a brother, Mirio? No. Mirio shook his head, still smiling, before wrapping an arm around Tamaki and Midoriya. Unless you mean a brother in all but blood, in which case, they're right here. Tamaki blushed out of embarrassment, but that quickly changed into a bright smile. Thank you, Mirio. Amajiki replied. You're a brother to me too. Same here. Izuku smiled brightly. The girls all cooed at the rather adorable and sweet scene between the three best friends. This and Mirio's laughter only bringing back Amajiki's blushing embarrassment and earned Midoriya's own. Todoroki smiled softly at the scene, likewise seeing Midoriya, his first real friend and the one who saved him from himself, as brother in all but blood, a sort of welcome addition to his family alongside his actual brother Natsuo and his sister Fuyumi. Thinking about his sister, Todoroki felt a light bulb turn on his head. It's obvious that the girls see Midoriya as more of a friend, and Midoriya isn't the kind to reject their advances. Todoroki thought, accurately assessing that a harem forming between Midoriya and the girls was inevitable. And Fuyumi has been feeling rather lonely, and she took to Midoriya very well during our family dinner. Perhaps I can fix both her loneliness and have Midoriya as a brother in blood. Bakugo meanwhile stared at the scene with an unreadable expression. To him, Bakugo thought back to their youth and how close and clingy Midoriya was to him, and how Bakugo secretly didn't mind. But then his quirk came in, and soon after, so did the shameless praising, the ego, and when Midoriya's never came, the bullying started, and whatever brotherly relationship Bakugo and Midoriya had was permanently broken. Bakugo felt an emotion that he only recently started to truly feel, starting back since his rescue from All Might, Deku, and the others, and only worsened as the mistakes and sins of the past truly settled in his mind. Regret. Hey, what about me? Nijire pouted, puffing her cheeks. Oh, don't be like that, Nijire. Mirio smiled in response. I thought we settled this, that you are like a sister to me and Tamaki. Besides, Mirio leaned in and whispered into Nijire's ear. Unless you are a brocon, I don't think you want Midoriya as your brother, if you know what I mean. Nijire's response for that was, for once, to stop talking, choosing instead to calm down her blush and keep down the fantasies her mind brought to life from Mirio's words. Wait, does that anthropomorphic fox have two tails? Urarika questioned. Looks like it. Azui placed an inquisitive finger on her chin. That one should be interesting. He's also the sidekick of Midoriya's counterpart, Sonic. So I wonder which one of our classmates will it be. Now we have already proven that standard Mario and Sonic series power-ups perfectly counter each other. So to not waste time, we're giving these second strings only what is unique to them. Wiz clarified, recalling footage from Mario vs. Sonic. That's a fair assessment. Momo nodded. All it would do to bring those power-ups up would be wasting time. Oh yeah, I forgot how your counterpart beat mine, Midoriya. Mirio rubbed the back of his neck. You really tore into me. Mirio, you already did that joke. Tamaki placed a hand on Mirio's shoulder and shook his head. And it wasn't funny the first time. Bro, that hurts. Mirio fake pouted. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. Boomstick announced the two. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Wiz ended the intro. The first fighter the group could see the family resemblance, but it was clear where all the height went to the Mario brothers. He was of course taller and thinner than his wider, shorter brother, and where Mario was dressed in red, Luigi was dressed in green. The two shared the same blue overalls, but Luigi's green cap held a green L on a white circle. Both brothers had the same dark brown mustache, Luigi's straighter than Mario's. However, Luigi seemed more skittish and frightful than his braver, courageous brother. Luigi. After clobbering Koopa, besting Bowser, and saving the princess, who gets all the credit? Wiz asked, showing Luigi performing all the said feats. Mario, of course, leaving his lanky brother with rejected sloppy seconds. Boomstick replied, with Mario jumping victoriously in the air, while Luigi is embraced by a Princess Daisy, who seemed to be like Peach, only with brown hair, an orange and yellow dress and a daisy motif. Ouch! Kaminari flinched at the statement. Is it like that here too? Unfortunately, yes. Ryukyu nodded, looking rather disappointed. Whenever one of my sidekicks manages to succeed on their own, there are still many of the media and the HPSC that would still attribute the arrest and credit to me for being associated with my agency. Many of us heroes try our best to acknowledge the deeds and efforts of our sidekicks, but it is a troubling problem among our hero agencies. Shot nodded. This problem has been rightly criticized as the reason why many of those who become sidekicks ultimately stay so. Well, that sounds stupid as shit. Miruko growled distastefully. I would kick whatever jackass would try to do that to me to the moon, if I was sidekick. Many of the students shivered and squirmed at the uncomfortable con of being a sidekick. While the easy solution would be to go solo and form your own agency, they have learned that most heroes who try that eventually have to close shop and become sidekicks or retire given the low public recognition and support that these new timers would face. No doubt Luigi has it rough. Wiz agreed. Despite being born as one of the 7-star children destined for greatness, it's not easy being second fiddle to the most popular character in video game history. They showed a rather comical image of Luigi peeking out from behind an upfront Mario. His still image making a more disturbingly morbid look. That's kinda sad. Kirishima grumbled. Now you know how we feel. Monoma grumbled/whispered to himself. Though, despite his low tone, Izuku managed to catch what he said, feeling rather guilty for the unintentional fame his class had garnered after the USJ and how it affected 1B, especially in the sports festival. He looked over towards Setsuna and gave his best apologetic look. Setsuna noticed, but she quickly responded with waving away, wordlessly telling him that it was okay, but replied with a small smile of her own, happy at least that the boy she is crushing on showed that he cares for her. Meanwhile, Endeavor grumbled to himself, keeping down the rising feelings of insecurity and inadequacy that had dictated his path in life for too long. While he may be the #1 hero now, he can relate to the feeling of being second fiddle to someone more powerful and popular. Yet he doesn't seem to mind. Wiz revealed, surprised himself. Like a good sidekick, Luigi exists only to help Mario, never asking for his own slice of the cake. That is rather surprisingly selfless and loyal of him. Azui blinked in surprise. And kinda sweet, in a brotherly love kind of way. Background: age 26. Height: 1.65 meters / 5 feet 5 inches. Weight: 91 kg / 200 pounds. Mario's younger brother. Citizen of the Mushroom Kingdom. One of the 7 star children. Trained by the Jellyfish Sisters and the Thunder God. So, he's pretty much a slave. Boomstick simplified it morbidly. That's rather pathetic. Bakuga growled. His own insecurities of being second fiddle to someone, that person mostly being either Deku or icy hot, rising up too. Fucking grow a pair of balls and stand up for yourself. It's surprising how often he's both wrong and right. Mina commented, finding Bakuga's comment on Luigi's loyalty to his brother as harsh, yet agreed with him on the basis of Luigi standing up for himself more. She remembered how much was the same for Kirishima and how meek he was back in junior high. In a way, but this devotion makes him the perfect teammate, helping to save the Mushroom Kingdom time and time again. Wiz pointed out, sometimes a hero cannot do everything on his own, and requires the help of others to prevail. Endeavor surprisingly spoke up. Whether it be from other heroes or your sidekicks, a team with a good synergy of trust and understanding can make the difference between defeat and victory. All Might was surprised Endeavor of all people would be the one to say this. Even with the amazing amount of change and growth the hero had undergone since his ascension to the #1 hero spot, Endeavor was among those heroes who like to settle things with their own power and mostly let their sidekicks do clean up or handle the less powerful criminals or henchmen, and very rarely needed their assistance. All Might thought back to Endeavor's battle against the high-end Nomu and figured that this change in Endeavor could have been the result of his victory with the help of Hawks. Bakuga took his own trip down memory to the joint training class and how he had trusted his teammates to bail him out of danger as he would do for them in return, and how this trusted understanding between him, tape arms, weird ears, and big lips earned them the fastest victory against 1B. What did Mario do to him to make him so obedient? Boomstick wondered, concerned. He's gotta have some serious dirt from their childhood. Luigi may take subordination to an extreme, but he's no pushover, was stated. In fact, he's not only taller than Mario, but also faster and more athletic. He can jump over 6 feet higher, plus, after studying Yoshi's superb jumping ability, Luigi developed his own variant of the dinosaur's floating technique, the scuttle jump. An interesting contrast between the two brothers. Nizu commented. Where Mario appears to be more physically stronger and durable of the two, Luigi makes up for this lacking with speed and agility, as evidence of his taller and thinner stature. Koda blinked at seeing how Luigi learned his scuttle jump from basing it off his own counterparts, Yoshi's abilities. Mirio gained an inquisitive look, thinking over the information thus far and the counterparts thus far with these Mario characters, including himself and Nijire as Mario and Peach. A comical light bulb lit up in Mirio's head before turning towards the subject of his thoughts, smiling knowingly. Wouldn't that feel a little embarrassing being shorter than your younger brother? Kaminari asked. Really? Mineta raised an eyebrow at Kaminari. Look at me and then tell me if you, being only a couple inches shorter than someone, is truly embarrassing. Skills and abilities. Superhuman strength and stamina. Scuttle jump. Super jump. Green missile. Luigi cyclone. Super jump punch. Superhuman jumping ability. His abilities don't end with a mid-air hustle. Luigi has plenty of powerful attacks, each of which, if pulled off perfectly, increase their damage for quick KOs. Boomstick began to list Luigi abilities. The spinning Luigi cyclone, the rocketing green missile, and the super jump punch, which can send his foe up into the air so high, they never come back down. Luigi snuck up on it, Jigglypuff, from behind and used the super jump punch, knocking Jigglypuff so high into the air, it cried out its name as it flew into the background. Luigi also appears to have greater ability and gain via precision. Ida analyzed. The more precise his attacks, the more damaging they can be. It will be a problem for his opponent if they get too close. Did that dude just turn himself into a rocket? Setsuna's sweat dropped seeing Luigi perform the green missile. Looks like that Jigglypuff is blasting off again. Zero joked, earning a few laughs at the reference. See, Mirio. Nijire gestured to the grinning 1A student. That's a good joke. Take notes. Mirio did just that, snatching up one of Izuku's notebooks from his bag and started to write down the title. Lemillion's Comedy Gold. Izuku looked down at his ever-dwindling number of notebooks. I think I'm going to need more. He thought to himself. Power UPS, Ultra Hammer, Thunder Hand, Vanish Power Flower, Poltergust 5000, Elemental Metals, Fire, Water and Ice, Negative Zone, Random Effects ranging from Dizziness, Decrease Enemy Weight, Trip Foes, Consistent Damage, Other Effects. In addition, he has numerous power-ups at his disposal, including his trusty hammer and the Vanish Power Flower, which makes him invisible and intangible. Wiz revealed. Luigi could be next to you. Watching you. Right now. He emphasized this creepiness with an image of a creepy image of Luigi slowly appearing in a dark, foggy screen. Ah, stop that! Boomstick exclaimed, spooked from Wiz's words. I am finding myself liking of this fighter. Reiko nodded, pleased. Me too. Hagakure jumped in her seat. Invisi homies stick together. Of course you two would. Setsuna chuckled nervously. Dark Shadow felt a rise in power and quickly noticed, despite his stoic look, the sudden surge of jealousy that Tokoyami was feeling right now. Although, that Vanish Power Flower looks like a very useful power-up for both offense and defense. Itsuka analyzed this time. With its intangibility, he could avoid deadly attack, and his invisibility can do the same and be a good retreat option, but also perfect for a counter or sneak attack. Reminds of your quirk, Mirio. Izuku pointed out excitedly, before flinching and lowering his tone. Why, you know, before dash. Ah, don't be like that, bro, it's fine. Mirio waved off Izuku's concern and restraint. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't go invisible, but that intangibility is 100% like my quirk. He was trained by the Thunder God himself in the powerful Thunder Hand technique. Boomstick continued. With this, he can shoot lightning at his foes, or at deadly soccer balls. Yes, 'cause I'm sure that what some Thunder God wanted for his powers and techniques to be used, it was to kick a soccer ball for a goal. Kyoka raised an eyebrow. So, where Mario seems to mostly use fire, Luigi uses lightning. Izuku wrote down. Rather an interesting and fitting choice given their colors. Hey, it's like my Princess Peach counterpart when she did that Mega Strike Empress kick. Nijire pointed out, excited. Ooh, I wonder how cool soccer would be if we could use our quirks. It would certainly be something. Zero's sweat dropped, remembering how he and few of the students of 1A and 1B participated in a baseball game with their hero mentors, and using their quirks during the game. He then shivered as he recalled catching Lion Hero Shishido's ball with his tape, after sending Kamui Woods flying, even going through Shiozaki's vines, and while he got Shishido out, Mount Lady had gotten knocked out cold when Kamui got knocked into her face and the gigantifying heroine ended up landing right on. He still remembers as he came to Mineta's jealous rant over how lucky Zero was. I don't think getting crushed by a giant chick is as appealing as he and others think it is, Zero thought. And after spending so much time in Mario's shadow, Luigi has somehow gained the ability to manipulate some sort of negative energy. Was revealed after another comical image of Luigi literally in Mario's shadow. As Luigi fought against himself, after breaking a weird floating orb with a cross on it, he began dancing, creating the negative zone, which ended up making Luigi intangible from the clone Luigi's attacks, sprout a flower, that caused consistent damage to the copy, and then made said copy fall asleep. Excuse me, what? Mina asked, her confused eyes blinking upon her still smiling face. Remember when Mario Brothers was about running around and jumping on turtles? Boomstick questioned. Anyway, you were saying something about physics breaking time energy or whatever. Luigi's negative zone can devastate a nearby opponent. Wiz explained further. Its effects are random but unavoidable, ranging from sudden dizziness to uncontrollable tripping over absolutely nothing. And he said that he gained this power from his negative feelings about being in Mario's shadow? Ojiro scratched at his head. Just when Momo and Ida were about to reclaim their senses and explain away the science and reasoning behind things again, this happened, and Momo had to legitimately create white flags on sticks for both her and Ida to wave around. Whatever this negative zone is, if his opponent ends up inside it, it would be rather devastating for them. Todoroki said. If they are distracted enough, it could give Luigi enough time to perform a deadly attack to secure victory. But when Luigi wants real firepower, he busts out the Poltergust 5000, a handy vacuum cleaner which can somehow kill ghosts. Boomstick exclaimed. It can kill that which is already dead. Everyone could pretty much imagine a comical exclamation point over Reiko's head as she smiled in absolute wonder at the device. Well, technically, he isn't killing them. He's actually sucking them into a Storadash. He has become Death, Destroyer of Worlds. Boomstick continued to exclaim and cut Wiz's clarification. So, he pretty much is a ghostbuster? Uraraka asked. It would appear so. Shui nodded. When there's something strange in your neighborhood, Mineta sang out. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. All the students sang out, even Shinso and Bakugu, who just sang out begrudgingly. Revelry in the dark. Tokoyami and Korwaro both muttered, the former of whom, upon noticing Reiko's investment in this, made a note for himself to speak with May and Melissa about potentially recreating this poltergust for her. Well, he ain't afraid of no ghosts. Wiz just rolled with it and continued. Luigi walked, trembling, across a dark room until a ghost appeared in front of him, frightening him tremendously. Weaknesses: cowardly, clumsy, sleeps through important events, inferiority complex, fails at traction. Scratch that. He's afraid of all ghosts, bugs, water, flowers, the sun. Wiz listed Luigi's fears, one by one. Luigi is a coward and doesn't even try to hide it. Granted, his fears are usually justified. Usually. He ended on Luigi hopping, tripping, and falling down in front of his older bro. Tamaki immediately felt a kinship with the equally nervous and skittish man. Well, looks like Bakugu is in good company. Uraraka grinned mischievously. I told you, Pink Cheeks, I'm not afraid of ghosts. Bakugu roared, blushing tomato red. Bakugu felt a tap on his shoulder and turned to see a floating white blanket with eye holes shout, Boo! Oh ha ha ha! Bakugu laughed sarcastically, his eye and forehead twitching. Like you idiots think you could try that again. What, is it Lizard Girl's mouth over a floating blanket controlled by creepy bangs again? Bakugu pulled down the blanket to reveal a frighteningly, gruesomely designed, eerily glowing, barely see-through face with sharp teeth. Wawa-ara! Eya-ha! Bakugu's little girl scream had made a return as he unleashed another explosion onto the ghost as the dust settled. The face was still there, but noticeably a hologram that quickly shut off to reveal a tiny drone. The drone played a new hologram, this time of Uraraka's face, sticking her tongue out and pulling down one of her lower eyelids. Gotcha, Kaken! The drone played Uraraka's voice just as the real Uraraka said it behind him. Laughter overtook the entirety of the room, including Uraraka, laughing so hard she had to hold her sides, and not at all concerned of the enormously embarrassed and enraged Pomeranian, being held back by half their class, roaring out that he was going to murder her. Uraraka turned to her partner in crime and gave Melissa a high five, as her drone came back to the blonde inventor. Thankfully for Mineta, the purple perv had sensed this going to happen again, like it did in the TMNT Battle Royal video, and, learning from that mistake, managed to escape the explosion of the scared Pomeranian. Ciro, however, all covered in soot and a tiny fire in his hair, was not so fortunate. In the end, they managed to tie Bakugu to his seat till he calmed down, and Aizawa made the girls cool it with the pranks on Bakugu. Said he and Recovery Girl don't want to patch up any more kids from burns and soot stains. He's also pretty clumsy, which you'd think would make a terrible combination. Boomstick jumped in. But like the Chinese drunken master style, Luigi harnesses awkwardness to make himself even more vicious. He's more powerful than he seems, murdering Goombas and Koopa by the hundreds every day. To turn a weakness into one of your greatest strengths is an admirable and impressive accomplishment, Ida declared, arm-chopping rapidly, hoping that Midoriya would write this down for him to read and perhaps get some more flexibility or to properly use his stiffness into a strength when running. Heh, it was the same with me. Mirio rubbed the back of his head. Was usually embarrassed at first when my quirk makes my clothes come off, but I got used to it. And since it makes most of my opponents distracted and weirded out, it helps me beat them quickly. So, you're an exhibitionist? Mina inquired, garnering more laughter from the students and neck rubs from Mirio. So, we're not just going to discuss how this man literally bounced his way through a floor of lava towards a star with eyeballs. Sen asked, gesturing to the screen. Luigi used a cannon on a pair of Koopa in some ice skating show with kids around. Haha, before we go any further, I'd like to point out that the unmaking cannon belongs to a bunch of children. Boomstick chuckled. Is it bedtime now, MOM? No more parents. While he laughed, Kuta gained a very mischievous grin on his face. Don't even think about it, young man. Both Mandalay and Deku said at the same time, causing the both of them to blush. Okay, I won't. Kuta's face turned green from gross, in his opinion. Sight of his aunt and never openly admit new father figure talk at the same time, like they were his parents. Just don't do that again. You, Fitz, expert in multiple sports, defeated Dementio, discovered the Grand Final Galaxy, saved Wario from Chief Chili, defeated King Boo multiple times, assisted Mario in many adventures, regularly smashes Salty bricks, won Mario Party by doing absolutely nothing. Even without it, Luigi has defeated Dementio, discovered the Grand Final Galaxy, raised a ravenous man-eating dinosaur, and even rescued Mario from certain doom on 3 separate occasions, was said. And where Mario brawls occasionally with the King of the Koopa, Luigi faced his own kingly nemesis, King Boo, and his hordes of undead specters on multiple occasions and won. Boomstick added. And also saving his big bro from said undead nemesis. Hee, goes to show not underestimate a hero's loyal wingman. Mirio said, hand placed on Tamaki's shoulder. Amajiki was taken aback as always, by just how blinding the metaphorical sun and light that Mirio Togata shined, the very same light that he strived to emulate and surpass. He found Fat Gum likewise smiling at him with pride. Sun Eater smiled at both of his, in a way, hero mentors that guided and trusted him to where he is now, one of UA's elite Big Three. The Green Thunder can pretty much do it all. Wiz agreed. Luigi is one mean, green, fighting machine. Boomstick ended the analysis. And we have our own mean, green, fighting machine here too. Shui croaked. Right, Midoriya. You mean yourself, Tsu. Izuku quipped back, smiling at her. Azui blushed furiously, surprised, yet delighted at Midoriya's forwardness. Ribbit. She croaked, twiddling her fingers cutely. Oh ho ho, that was quite the comeback, Green Bean. Setsuna floated her upper half up towards Midoriya, smiling at him teasingly. Though I'm kinda jealous you didn't say that about me too? Setsuna pouted comedically. I didn't think it needed to be said. Izuku surprisingly continued, leaning his face closer to the rapidly blushing one of Setsuna's. Or do you miss the attention of your fellow brunette friend that much? Suna? Setsuna's face was now as red as tomato, and her once teasing smile had fallen into a quivering, stuttering mess. Ayua, shut up. She stuttered out before flying her upper half back and huffing away, still blushing. The rest of the sisterhood meanwhile were in awe of the sudden change of Midoriya's attitude, showing more confidence enough to out-tease Setsuna Tokage and make Tsuazui herself look so taken back. See, could the aphrodisiac not be cured just yet? Momo thought. Regardless, they all admitted that seeing Midoriya banter and tease like that was really hot. Miruko had a shit-eating grin on her face. Oh ho ho, the balls on this kid. Miruko thought, very pleased at the confident shift in Midoriya's demeanor, adding flavor to Midoriya's usual kindness and frankly, cute nerdiness. Mama likes very much. However, in contrast to Midoriya's confident, grinning face, inside his mind, the army of mini Dekus that was his subconscious were running around in a panic. It's on fire. The whole thing is on fire. One mini Deku, face red like a ruby, wailed in horror as he and his equally red mini Dekus ran around like headless chickens as the Deku Brain Command Center was in flames and overheating, while mini Dekus with fire extinguishers and fire department jackets over their hero suits tried to put out the flames of chaos that Deku's momentary burst of confidence caused. Meanwhile, 8 figures watched all of this unfold with varying reactions to the silliness. From laughter from a loud, boisterous bomb man in a leather jacket, a kind smirk from a short-haired man with a black scar going down the left side of his face, the closing eyes of a short black-haired man whose costume resembled Best Jeanists, giggles from a fairly muscular caped woman, her appearance rather similar to Midoriya's mother, Inko, and an amused, yet happy smile from a pale, skinny man with long, shaggy white hair. One of the 8 figures instead scoffed at the scene. I still can't believe that you all agreed on this naive, skittish boy to inherit our quirk. The man with a startling similarity to a certain explosive Pomeranian, only with a scar across his face, turned away from the scene. Ugh, not this again, second. Nana Shimura rolled her eyes. You lost the vote 5-2. And if Toshinori's fiery spirit there could have voted, then it would have been 6-2. She gestured to the figure covered in yellow flames with the vague shape of All Might. The boy is still overtly optimistic and naive. The second fired back, shaking his head. He will be too hesitant and empathetic to do what must be done. He is too forgiving as well, even willing to forgive that boy. The man growled at the thought of Katsuki Bakugu, his ruby eyes holding disappointment. Captain. A tall man with tied-up blonde hair looked at bearer of the quirk before him with uncertainty and hesitance. If I recall, you two were rather forgiving to someone who moments then you wanted to kill for being related to a monster. The second perked up his head and turned to meet the kind gaze and smile of the first. Have faith, old friend. Like you did when you held out a hand to me. The boy will surpass every one of our expectations, though to us, he already has. He will put an end to what we began so long ago. Trust me. The blonde, scarred man was silent as he recalled the very scene Yoichi spoke of. He turned away, refusing any other comment, and went back to watching these death battle videos that the ninth finds so intriguing. Back to the normal world. Luigi equipped the Poltergust 5000 on his back. Yeah, you do it. Ho ho. Luigi spoke into the nozzle before dancing adorably, before accidentally bumping into a car roughly. Hoopsie. His clumsiness then caused a shelf to his left to fall down, blocking the way out in dirt and debris. Oh! Snorts and chuckles came out from the group at the rather adorably funny scene. Otherwise, the group had mostly positive thoughts regarding Luigi, from his superb abilities that stood him out from his brother, his affiliation with the undead that tickled the curiosity and attention of 3 certain revelers of the dark, and his loyalty and persevering qualities endearing him to many of the students. There were, however, some who thought unfavorably towards the Green Plumber. His skittish and frightful demeanor distasteful to certain battle-hungry and competitive students, and his clumsiness and contrasting precisely needed moves analyzed by some of the pros to be a deterring factor in the coming death battle. The second fighter was, just like Sonic, an anthropomorphic animal, only instead of hedgehog it was fox, and a rather unique fox to boot. The young-looking fox had bright golden fur around most his body, from most his head to his pointed fox ears, to his arms, legs and tail, or rather tails. Attached to his back instead of one tail, there were 2 twin tails, both large and fluffy with white tips on the ends. This white fur also consisted onto his lower mouth area. where white whiskers poked out the sides, and most of his torso, with a bit of fluff near the collar area. The only article of clothing he appeared to wear were a pair of red and white sneakers and white gloves with black rings around the wrists. But other versions showed the genetically deformed fox with a tool belt around his waist and goggles on his head. All systems go. Full speed ahead, Tails declared as he was shown playing a silver-gray plane. May and Melissa had tingle go off in the back of their minds seeing the rather advanced version of biplane, feeling like they were going to like this character. Born the very same day Dr. Eggman began his robot-powered takeover of the world miles per hour dash. Haha, get it? Miles per hour. Boomstick cracked out laughing. Creativity like that is why Sega is still making consoles. Ah, that's actually kind of clever. Kaminari chuckled. I guess it also fits with him being some kind of sidekick to Sonic and his speed and all. Ahem, Miles was awkwardly born with two tails. Was awkwardly resumed. What a unique genetic aberration. Mizu mused to himself. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Recovery Girl retorted. Touché. Mizu smirked. Though I can't help but find this situation rather similar towards our own history of the first ever appearance of a quirk that fateful day in Quick Quick. Izuku perked up at the mention of the dawn of quirks, and the mention of the baby that radiated light, writing that knowledge down in case he forgot to mention it in one of his other journals. Mizu's comment on unique aberrations also perked up Melissa. She herself considered an aberration. In a world of quirks and superpowers all over, she was one of the only ones born without any special powers. An anomaly, an enigma, and an aberration more cruelly tossed onto her behind her back and the rather ironic shield that was her father's name and reputation. Now, seeing Tails born similarly to her, it made the blonde inventor start to relate to this character more than just the inkling suspicions of him being an inventor. And she wondered if the boy ever suffered mocking and teasing for this unique trait. Then she turned her sights and thoughts towards Izuku beside her. Just like her, he was, and still is, considered an anomaly as well. Thought to be born and treated as quirkless for most of his life, by Izuku's admission, and manifested his quirk, a powerful and ever-evolving one at that, at an age hitherto unheard of, and had been mistreated and picked on far worse than she ever had been for being born different, quirkless. But I won't let that happen anymore. Melissa resolved to herself, looking at her notebook and her reborn and invigorated plans to be this world's first quirkless hero, just like the Batman and likely others out in the multiverse before her. I won't let anyone be treated like that again. Melissa took a page out of her Uncle Might and smiled. Not while I am here. Background. Full name Miles Tails Prower. 11. Height 80 cm/2 feet 7 inches. Weight 20 kg/44 pounds. Q300. The youngest freedom fighter. The chosen one of the ancient walkers. Mere minutes after being welcomed into the world, Eggman's deadly forces made Miles Prower an orphan. Wiz revealed. Whoa, that's pretty fucked up, Boomstick said. His tone slightly depressed as Miles waved goodbye with tears and raining falling. Kuta flinched and looked down, remembering that horrible day when he walked into that hospital room to see the dead bodies of his parents draped in white, while his Aunt Shino hugged him, as well as the pain and resentment that grew in his bitter heart towards the whole world of quirks, heroes and villains. Kuta was snapped out of his dark memories with a hand on his head and shoulder. He turned to find Eri was the one whose hand was on his shoulder, looking likewise saddened at Miles's past but also concerned over him. Izuku's hand was on his head, the green-haired idol of his looking at him with sad eyes yet a smile nonetheless. Kuta was then reminded of two things. The first was of the deeds of what Izuku Midoriya had done in his efforts to connect with and save him from both Muscular and himself, and showed him the kind of hero that his mother and father were, and be the hero Kuta needed. The second was the knowledge, told to him in advance by Aunt Shino, that Eri was also an orphan like him, who suffered arguably worse than him, and yet she cared more of what he was going through than her own sadness. Kuta's open mouth closed to a whimpering smile. His eyes wetting yet he refused to let them out right now. It would only make the two more worried. He nodded his thanks towards the two. his friend and his idol/father figure, who smiled back brightly at him. 8 years later, and after some much-needed counseling, Miles stumbled upon a broken-down biplane and happily repaired the whole vehicle on his own. Wiz continued, showing Miles's image next to an image of his iconic red biplane. "Well, of course," Boomstick sarcastically said. "Just like all walking, talking, adolescent, two-tailed foxes can." "Wait, he's only 8 to 9 years old and he fixed a biplane?" Melissa exclaimed with amazement. "Well, I wouldn't say I'm a two-tailed fox, but I fixed up a plane when I was little," Hatsum proudly stated. "Did it happen to blow up?" Ida dryly said. "No comment," May replied. Anyway, as it turns out, that plane happened to belong to Miles' personal idol, Sonic the Hedgehog, Boomstick said, Miles looking up to the outstretched hand, finding it attached to the fastest thing alive. Sonic sped up and stopped in front of Miles, tumbling the little fox to his butt. "What are you doing?" Sonic asked. "Ah, so that's how they met," Uraraka said. "Rather a fated meeting destined to happen." "I would say the same for when we first met each other, Ochiko." Izuku smiled at his first true female friend. Uraraka blushed brightly. "Oh, stop it, Deku. You're making me blush." Uraraka turned away, waving her arm Ida style, trying to play of her actual blush and joy at the comment from her crush as a joke. "Green's acting rather confident, isn't he?" Kyoko whispered to Momo. "Yes, it could be some side effect of the aphrodisiac still in his system." Momo whispered her findings back. The worst of it might have been cured by the aphrodisiac, but Izuku's confidence might be the lingering effects still present. "Well, as long as he isn't suffering like before, I wouldn't say I wouldn't mind more of this confident, quippy Midoriya," Kyoko admitted, while still finding the shy, cute, and precious Izuku the one she ultimately fell for. This confident one was equally as appealing to the music lover. Why running on water Sonic needed a plane in the first place is beyond me. But whatever. Boomstick shrugged. Sonic pretty much then gave the plane to Tails, and the Tornado one has been his signature plane ever since. "Well, that was nice of him," Bra nodded. "But why the name Tornado One? Maybe because the biplane's propeller blades spin like a tornado?" Kinoko proposed an answer that came out more like a question. It was Sonic who first suggested that Miles' birth defects could be used to fly by spinning them like helicopter blades. Wiz revealed. Which is obviously impossible, as they could never create lift and dash. Wiz was cut off by the sight of Miles actually flying like a mini helicopter. What in the Fukushima is this?" Mineta yelled, looking at the scene with wide bulging eyes. "But, how do? But what about? Wouldn't they just, was basically what Momo could articulate from the physics-breaking feat shown before her eyes, ignoring all the other physics-breaking things they all have seen, both in the videos and in the real world. "I think we might have found the reason why the Tornado One was named that." Itsuka's sweat dropped. And so, Sonic gave his rotary ass the oh-so-obvious nickname he deserved. "Tails," Boomstick explained. "Rather a fitting name for this adorable-looking fox boy." Midnight cooed. "Don't," Izawa simply said. "Oh, hush you." Midnight huffed at one of her oldest friends. "Not everything I coo at is supposed to be sexual. Could have fooled us." Mount Lady shrugged, ignoring Midnight's middle finger. "Well, that's stupid," Wiz scoffed. "That's like if you were nicknamed Boomstick, because you just like shotguns." "Don't be fucking ridiculous, wizard," Boomstick replied. "Well, then I'm out of ideas as to why he's called Boomstick." Sim threw his arms up. "Maybe he also likes sticks of dynamite, and they go boom," Aways suggested. "Get it, Boomstick." "I guess," Rin shrugged, waving his finger in a so-so manner. "But then why was called Wizard?" Likely in reference to his skills in mathematics and science. Jirota this time suggested. "As in the old saying, a wizard at this." Twin Tails. Flight. Increases running speed. Strong enough to break metal. Combat techniques. Tails swipe attack. Rapid Tails attack. Thunder shoot punt. Anyway, aside from flight, Tails' copter-butt blades are strong enough to bust metal, and he can use them like a turbine of an engine to keep up with Sonic's super-fast speeds. Boomstick explained Tails' abilities. He can almost reach the speed of sound. It was a rather painful blow to Ida's pride that essentially someone younger, and whose tails were called copter-butt blades, was faster than even him and his brother. The only comfort he received was a pat on the back from Azui. So, Tails's. Well, Tails can be used for speed and evasion and even offense. Izuku analyzed, finding the nickname his counterpart gave to the fox confusing to write in conjunction with his actual tails. His flight can obviously allow him to reach greater heights than Sonic, even with the lightning shield's mid-air bounce, and his speed could be useful on both land and sky to evade enemy fire or reach a situation fast and with a good aerial surveillance. And his tails being strong enough to bust through metal must be to break open those robots from Eggman to free those animals inside. Melissa analyzed, too. I could also imagine that if he spun his tails and struck offensively, he could shred through paper, wood, and even metal too, like the turbine of an engine. But why would he then need the biplane either? Perhaps Tails can't fly forever, Izuku pointed out. It's like using and tensing a muscle from overuse. So the tornado one is for longer-lasting flights and long-distance travel. It's like I'm seeing a pair of twins. Kaminari sweat dropped at the two nerds writing down their findings. Given how we all know how they feel about each other, I think this is more of a soulmate situation. Mineta whispered, bitter that Midoriya seemed to be quietly, and unknowingly at that, forming his own harem of himself, Melissa Shield, Ochiko Uraraka, and maybe even Azui and Tokage as well. The purple perv had absolutely no idea how accurate and yet way off he was in his assessment. Tails pledged himself to Sonic's freedom fighting cause against Dr. Eggman, and the two became friends, almost like brothers. Wiz jumped back in. They also share a sort of teacher-student relationship, though it wasn't always clear who was the student. This was exemplified by Tails painting a wall saying, Sonic says. With Sonic fixing it this is, to says. Ida snickered, finding this relationship between Sonic and Tails very similar to himself and Midoriya, who just so happened to be Sonic's counterpart. It was clear Ida was the smarter of the two, though more academically inclined than Midoriya's impromptu quick thinking and analysis, and Tails shared that trait with clearly being more mechanically and technically gifted. And Ida could see Tails likely being more reasonable and responsible than his hedgehog companion. However, despite his stick-to-the-rules mentality and brains, and his position as the class rep, he often found himself lacking and following in Izuku's footsteps and leadership than the reverse. In his mind, it was Midoriya that figured out the hidden rescue points of the entrance exam, Midoriya who first won the class rep position and gave it to him, and Midoriya and Todoroki, who found and saved him from the hero killer stain and made him see his own foolishness. It was Tails who invented the famous spin dash, not the speedy hedgehog, Boomstick pointed out. Wait, really? Uraraka blinked, surprised. Wow, I wonder how he came up with that trick in the first place. Kyoka inquired. Izuku chuckled, surprised, yet pleasantly so, of how his counterpart's sidekick helped teach his counterpart a few tricks, adding to that flip-flopping student-teacher relationship. It reminded the ninth wielder of One for All about how he emulated moves from his friends to further improve his own arsenal of skills and abilities, such as Bakugu for his agility and acrobatics and Ida with his shoot style. Goes to show that even the best of us have more to learn, Izuku thought, before blinking in surprise of his own thoughts. That's a first. Thinking of myself as one of the best. Kind of like it. Tails is a genius and a master mechanic, Wiz revealed. The excited smiles of May and Melissa showed just how happy they were that their instincts were right, and that the two-tailed fox is the master mechanic they felt he was. Though, I would think that him fixing a biplane when he was at 8 or 9 would give that away. Melissa thought to herself. He's so much smarter than Sonic, that he actually learned how to swim. Boomstick roasted the blue hedgehog. Ha! Eat shit, shitty Deku. Bakugu taunted. Your own sidekick is a better swimmer than you. Hee hee, I guess. Deku chuckled nervously. I guess my counterpart made a great choice befriending and teaming up with him. Stop trying to put a positive spin on this. You're supposed to be made fun of. Bakugo yelled in protest. He has built several planes and combat mechs and has numerous gadgets on hand. Was revealed. Images playing of Tails and his multiple vehicles and inventions. Like the projectile ring which can pull or latch onto objects. Almost like a grappling hook. And other versions had the little genius instead make grappling whips made of electricity for both himself and his friends. We showed Sonic Boomtails forming one of these yellow electricity whips to wrap a pair of fire-shooting scorpion-like robots together which blew up. That's so sick! Kaminari exclaimed. Eyes alit with stars. Hey Melissa, handsome. Think you gals can whip something like that up for Dash? Yeah, we will. May waved off the blonde with a dismissive wave. She registered the request and would obviously do it. But she and Melissa were a little occupied with writing everything down like madwomen. Didn't mean that it didn't sting Kaminari's pride to be so easily dismissed. Urarika smiled as she saw Tails with the projectile ring. Finding it rather similar to her own grappling hook, she requested into her gauntlets, inspired by Dekka's black whip and recalling how useful it was during her, Azui, Nijire, Ryukyu, and Selkie and Sirius in their mission to stop those pirates smuggling Trigger. Power Loader also very impressed seeing Tails' inventions, especially his mechs like his plane turning into some land-based walking mech. Reminded the pro of his own mech suit he built for hero work. Offensive arsenal. Pindet, projectile ring, Enerbeam, Napalm, 2-2, dummy rings, flashbang, magic hand, energy ball arm cannon. But despite being a super geek, he really likes to blow shit up. Boomstick chuckled and listed all of Tails' different variety of explosives. He carries a huge supply of bombs. Big bombs, napalm bombs, remote bombs, flashbang grenades, bombs shaped like magic rings, bombs shaped like mice, bombs shaped like your mother. You name it, he's got a bomb like it. Heh, nice. Bakugo grinned, satisfied. Let me guess, you found your fighter to root for? Kirishima smirked smug and teasingly to his friend. Zip it, shitty hair. Bakugo growled. You lost the last fight voting for that brickhouse robot, so I don't want to hear it from you. Those mic bombs are also rather similar to Link's bombchus. Izuku pointed out, looking over his notes to find his other counterpart and his weaponry including bombs that were part rat and part bomb. He also wields the magic hand, a long-range, comical, punching weapon, and the energy ball arm cannon, which showed both the comical, spring-punching glove and the energy ball shooting gauntlet, which is ripped straight out of Mega Man. Boomstick accused. I call copyright, Monoma declared. Dude, you aren't even the actual Mega Man, just his edgy clone. Ken pointed out. Silence. My point remains. Monoma responded. I don't know, I think it also shares a similar look to Samus's blaster. Momo said. Gonna call copyright too? Kyoka jokingly teased. Oh, of course not. Momo blushed, embarrassed. I'm not trying to sound offended. I merely wished to state a comparison. I don't think that similar weapons from across universes would even make for copyright infringement. Momo, sweetie. Mina patted Momo's knees, calming the frantic girl. She's just teasing you. While Momo calmed down, Izuku fought his own battle to calm down this blush at how adorable Momo looked so nervous and flustered. He built all this himself, but never a device to breathe underwater. Boomstick pointed out. Kinda dropped the ball there, sidekick. The infamous Sonic drowning music played again as Tails swam underwater before ending when the timer goes down to 0, causing him to drown. Gah! Not again! Kyoka wailed, covering her sensitive ears at the traumatizing music. I feel like I'm getting a heart attack listening to that music. Setsuna shuddered unpleasantly. Agreed. Bra shivered. Support arsenal. Medibot. Shieldbot. Helmet. Jet anklets. Boosts flight speed. Rhythm badge. Helps maintain balance. Teapup remote robot. Unlike Sonic's speed-blitzing battling style, Tails relies on logic and tactics in a fight. Wiz analyzed, revealing Tails' supportive bots. His shield bot fortifies his defenses, and his Medibot heals wounds over time. Melissa and May both looked very interested in both versions of the bots and agreed that, in their spare time past working on the lightsabers, that May will focus on the shield bot and Melissa on the Medibot. Among Tails' list of gadgets, that one that struck out to Nina and Uraraka was the rhythm badge. While the former felt that it would be helpful in her breakdance fighting situations, in Uraraka's mind, it would be the best tool for herself, to keep her balance whilst weightless in midair. Izuku likewise felt that this is a perfectly helpful tool for him in his process to learn float beforehand. On that note, Izuku wrote down to ask Bakugo, Shiro, Tsuyu, and Ochiko for after-school help, perhaps tomorrow after both school and the videos. All might mention that Mr. Aizawa was going to be perhaps unavailable tomorrow, so Tsuyu and Shiro would be the best to help him with Black Whip and Ochiko and Bakugo with mid-air combat with float. Weaknesses: fear of thunder, fear of ghosts, gets dizzy easily, over-reliability on Sonic, youthful naivete, lacking hand-to-hand combat skills. But he's a total wimp. Boomstick Mach. He can't fly forever, and if he doesn't have Sonic around to hold his hand, he's scared of pretty much everything. After a good thunderclap, you'll find him shivering his spiny ass off in the bathtub. Right, we should hurry, Sonic said, standing high on top of Point, addressing towards Tails, hovering beside him. Thunder and lightning went off in the background, scaring Tails, who freezes midair comically and grabs onto Sonic. Gah! I'm afraid of lightning, Tails cried out. I guess this is what connects both Luigi and Tails, Mandalay stated. Both are sidekicks to their more famous partners, with skill sets unique to them, but are easily frightened and codependent on their partner. I guess you were right about Tails not being able to fly forever, Melissa said, bumping her shoulder onto Izuku, who blushed and smiled nervously. Bakugo tried to keep down his own snickers at Tails' fearful appearance, how it reminded Bakugo of Deku most of the time, stumbling and stuttering upon any kind of awkward or social interaction. But because those memories were of Aldera, it quickly brought Bakugo down to a more guilty mood, since he was mostly the reason for Midoriya to be like that. Feats and strengths. Top speed: 1,223 km per hour or 760 miles per hour. Minus tail support: 168 km per hour or 100 miles per hour. Self-taught genius technician. Defeated Wendy Witchcraft. Saved Station Square from a nuke. Defeated the Battle Bird Armada. Defeated Eggman on the Ark. Unified the Chaos Emerald to complete the Great Harmony. Well, he is only 11 years old, and the feats he's accomplished at his age are beyond impressive. Wiz defended the Scaredy Fox. He's only 11, Mount Lady cried out, shocked. And yet a prodigy of science and engineering. David looked more impressed of Tails' genius, capability, and feats. Remarkable, like being able to run 100 miles per hour without his tails, stopping a nuclear missile, and saving the multiverse by transforming into Wiz stopped his listing of his feats at the image of Tails extremely tall and buff. Don't do steroids, kids. Boomstick joke. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that. Pixie Bob shook her head. Agreed, Ragdoll exclaimed, wiping that image away from my head. He also gained a super form of his own, when Sonic, Knuckles the Echidna, and himself powered up together via the Chaos Emeralds. Wiz continued. Using this combined power, all three managed to defeat Metal Sonic that transformed into the monstrous Metal Overlord. Hey, it's that dragon-looking form that Robo-Sonic took during Eggman vs. Wily, Miruko pointed out. Yes, and it would appear that both Sonic and Tails, along with this Knuckles the Echidna, were responsible for defeating it. UQ nodded. However, while the knowledge of Tails possessing a super form of his own, in a way, it is likely to be ignored for this battle, Egdesat pointed out. Edge Shot is right. All Might nodded. If Tails could have a super form like Sonic, then it would stand to reason that Luigi could use the same power-ups that Mario took to counter Super Sonic, such as the Power Star, Metal Cap, and Giant Mushroom. The sky's the limit for this foxy inventor, Boomstick quipped. We good to go or what, Tails? Sonic asked Tails, as he worked on the Tornado one. Tails stopped working and sighed at Sonic's impatience. I've built a TV out of paper clips. Tails began. Yeah. Sonic went along with the rant. And reprogrammed a supercomputer using dishwashing detergent and a toothpick. Tails continued. I know. Sonic agreed. So, look, fixing a propeller on a biplane. That's about as difficult as taking a nap. Tails ended his speech by spinning the propeller. The plane starting up the engine, fixed. Kay, I did not need your whole life story. Sonic pointed out, talking louder over the engine. A simple good to go would have been cool. Alright, good to go, Tails called out. Cool, Sonic yelled. Chuckles were received at such brotherly banter between the two anthropomorphic characters. The inventors of the group easily found Tails as the character they would root for given his mechanical expertise, only highlighted further by the scene having Tails' list of even more impressive and ridiculous feats. His unique abilities, sad backstory, impressive young age feats, and large arsenal of personal gadgets also had many of the group more convinced to vote for the two-tailed fox. However, his young age and skittish and fearfulness made some question his ability to win the death battle. Alright, the combatants are set. Wiz began to end the analysis portion of the video. Let's end this debate once and for all. It's time for a death BAATT. Boomstick yelled out. Is he just gonna yell that out like that for now on? Rin asked. Probably. Yui shrugged. After that, while the device scanned for the counterparts, the group began to vote and bet for their chosen fighter to root for. Those on Team Luigi included Amajiki, Mirio, and Nijire, the first of the big three voting for how similar Luigi and his skittish fearfulness reminded Amajiki of himself, and Mirio and Nijire refused to comment until the counterparts were decided. Reiko, Tokoyami, and Kurwaro all voted Luigi too, mainly because the green Italian plumber's greater connection to the dark and the supernatural by way of his ghostly enemies and ghostly power-ups and abilities. Then came Luigi's jumping capabilities and athleticism that made Maruko, Azui, and Tiger vote for him, the first especially for his excellent jumping and cool-ass lightning powers, Azui for the scuttle jump athletic bonus over Mario, and the adorable clumsiness and finesse that Luigi had, and Tiger for similar reasons but most especially for Luigi using his clumsiness and awkwardness to his advantage. While Tails had an electric whip he liked, Kaminari voted for the naturally lightning-powered fighter that was Luigi. The green plumber's precision strengthening moves would ultimately have Itsuka vote for him. Hagakure for his invisibility, and Endeavor, who felt a kinship with the plumber who was overshadowed by his brother as much as Endeavor felt forever stuck in All Might's shadow. And for those voting for Team Tails, those most notable of them were May, Melissa, David Shield, and Power Loader on the obviousness of Tails' status as a genius inventor, with Melissa also voting based on her and Tails sharing a similar backstory of genetic anomaly. Kuta also voted personally for Tails, the two sharing a similar background of dead parents and as orphans, a reason that made Eri likewise choose the younger fighter. Izuku, Momo, and Ida likewise for the twin-tailed fox, the former are given to vote for his counterpart sidekick but also because Midoriya respected Tails' brains, speed, and brain over brawn fighting style, while Ida and Momo voted based on Tails' impressive speed, genius intellect, and the former of the two for Tails' brotherly-like relationship with Sonic, and finding it similar to the relationship he felt towards Midoriya as a brother-in-arms. Bakugu would vote based on Tails' explosive weaponry. Uraraka for the fox's aerial superiority and gadgets she liked, Ryukyu, impressed by Tails' feats at such a young age, including taking down a robotic dragon, and Nizu, who voted for the younger fighter both for being smarter and more intellectual. Multiversal counterpart detected. The device finished. Luigi. Multiversal counterpart. Tamaki Amajiki. Aha! I knew it! Both Mirio and Nijire exclaimed. It wasn't that obvious. Amajiki stuttered. The two gave him a dry and plain look. Oh, okay, fair enough. Amajiki sighed. Miles Tails Prower. Multiversal counterpart. Mei Hatsumei. Ha, interesting. Nizu rubbed his chin. Though Miss Hatsum is a female, her counterpart is in fact male. Rather similar to how one of Bakugo's own counterparts was the female Rainbow Dash. Don't remind me of that, stupid rat. Bakugo grumbled, as low as he could so as to not offend the very principal that could kick him out. Ooh, Mei cheered and exclaimed. Looks like Mama Mei finally got herself a cool-ass counterpart. And an inventor too. If I can help, she will be my Mama Mei, Eri declared in her head, for her desire to have one of her chosen mamas be with her papa. Didn't you already have a counterpart who was an inventor? Izuku asked. Scrolling down to his list of counterparts he wrote down and finding the on under Mei's name. Yeah, your Bulma counterpart. And she's an inventor too. Yeah, but she's also my counterpart that married to not loud Pomeranian. Mei replied blankly. Screw off, dreadlocks. Bakugo roared out. I'm not happy in that marriage either. The two of you already sound like bitter exes. Kirishima whispered out. Shut it, shitty hair. Additional multiversal counterpart detected. Princess Daisy. The device added, showing the princess that Luigi saved. Multiversal counterpart. Yu Yu Heya. Ooh. Yu Yu has a counterpart too. Nijire exclaimed. Cheerful to see her best friend with a counterpart. Who's that? Tetsu scratched his head to ask. That's one of your upperclassmen, little listener. Present Mike informed. Yu Yu Heya of Class 3A. Quirk. Lightning Arrow. She can control electricity and discharge it from her hands in the shape of an arrow. Cool. Another electricity-based upperclassman. Kaminari had stars in his eyes at the knowledge of his senpai with a quirk similar to his. I hope she can help train me. What, me and the lurkers not good enough for you, Charge Bolt? Mount Lady raised an eyebrow. He merely seeks a more personal grasp of his abilities, Takayama. Shot calmed his teammate. It came from a sense of childlike curiosity, not malice. Actually, Tamaki. Nijire gained a mischievously teasing smile. It looked like Yu Yu's counterpart had a thing for yours. Tell me, is there anything between the two of you that you have been keeping from little old me? Tamaki paled and shivered so bad. One would think he was in the middle of the Arctic with no shirt. No. Tamaki failed to say without stuttering crazily. Tamaki. Nijire kept her smile, but her narrowing eyes was clear to see that she was losing patience. Oh, okay. Amajiki raised his hands in defeat before slumping down. Me and you have been seeing each other for a while. Nijire was silent for a second before her resulting squeal nearly deafened everyone in the room, including Kyoka, while she had her earmuffs on. Okay, Miss Hado, while I can see that you are excited that two of your friends have become so close and wish to know more, Nizu spoke up, interrupting Nijire from her shaking Amajiki back and forth like a ragdoll for answers. Let us continue on to the death battle itself, and not leave Mr. Amajiki with permanent whiplash. Nijire did just that, apologizing for her over-eagerness. Mirio just laughed and patted his brother-in-all but blood on his back, while also keeping the dizzy student in place. Unlike Nijire, who Amajiki and Yu Yu hid this detail in fear of her, Mirio was fully aware of the hidden relationship. Or rather, he found out after phasing through to Tamaki's room to find him and Yu Yu's sucking face. Mirio was happy to hear that all of his friends have found someone to spend their lives with happily, with Tamaki and Yu Yu together and happily so, and Nijire and her obvious love for Midoriya. Though Mirio couldn't help being a little jealous at their progress in their love lives. Togata never really focused too much on romance thanks to Naitai's insistent training. That Mirio thought that night I wanted Mirio to spend all his effort and time into hero work instead of romance, like All Might. But now, with Sir gone, his friends finding romance, and waiting patiently for whenever Eri could master her quirk enough to get his own back, Mirio wondered what life had in store for him. Though, admittingly, whenever his mind traveled to such places of attraction, his thoughts came to a certain blue-skinned, skimpily dressed sidekick he spent so much time with. After Amajiki and Nijire fully composed themselves, the video began again with the death battle. The video began with tails flying over a grassy field, green pipes sticking up out of the ground everywhere. The 11-year-old fox hovered down onto the edge of a pipe and began scouting the area. After a few seconds of looking around, Luigi popped out of the pipe, bumping Tails off. "Hey!" Tails yelled out, landing on his face before getting up. "Not cool, Tamaki!" Nijire playfully chastised him. "How could you be so rude as to knock that poor little kid off? You're not going to let me down for not telling you about me and you, are you?" Tamaki asked depressingly. "Ah, you know me so well." Nijire smiled brightly, but to Amajiki, it was the smile of a demon. "So well, I'm shocked you two thought hiding this from me would have been any better." Amajiki sighed miserably, only paling further upon thinking what Nijire might do to Yu. The plumber jumped out of the pipe angrily to face Tails. "Let's say go," Luigi proclaimed nervously. "Fight." Tails started things off by pulling out his energy cannon, powering it up to fire, while Luigi powered up his own move, sparking with lightning all around him. The green plumber shot forward with a green missile, blasting through Tails's fired energy ball. But as he continued sailing towards his opponent, Tails backed up and smacked Luigi down with his tails, Luigi sliding through the ground. "Oof, nice timing." Ojiro nodded, looking at Tails with interest at their similar tail fighting styles. And if those tails can break through metal, then they could assuredly catch and smack Luigi away. Luigi jumped back up, ready, while Tails ready to spin dash to charge at his opponent. Tails shot forward, but Luigi countered with his trusty hammer, hitting miles up into the air. Tails stopped in a hover, yet Luigi followed him upwards with his scuttle jump. While Tails seems to have the better aerial superiority, Luigi isn't far off with the scuttle jump, Izuku analyzed. At the very least, it gives Luigi the ability to have a near-even fighting with Tails on both land and sky. "Come on boy fox, genius me." May cheered for her counterpart. "Take that plumber to Pound Town." "You really forgot your own counterpart's name?" Ida asked incredulously. "Of course not," May replied before taking a few seconds of thought. "It's Taylor, right?" Ida face-palmed. "Unbelievable," Ida muttered. The two fought in the air, striking and spinning at each other with their Tails swipes and Luigi cyclones, respectively. Eventually, the two knock each other away. Tails sent further up in the air and Luigi back on ground. Luigi circled around as Tails did the same in the air, reading and goading the other to strike. Tail flew in just as the plumber tried to jump up and hit the inventor with his hammer again. Tails countered with his tails again, knocking Luigi back. "Come on, man." Kirishima cheered on for Amajiki's plumber counterpart. "You can't let him get away with two of those. Show him some of that spooky shit you got." It was smart of them, both of them, to try to wait out the other, but circling around the other, Fat Gum noted, makes the opponent antsy to strike and lead into a trap or counter. Unfortunately, it would appear that with Tails getting the upper hand twice now, that Luigi may share as much reckless impulse as his brother. Ectoplasm replied. Tails landed on the ground, tried out another spin dash, but this time Luigi struck in time, a cloud of smoke and dust clouding the screen. It faded to show Tails was launched up via Luigi's super jump punch. "Now that was some power," Mirio declared, with a flex of his arms. Luigi managed to strike at the perfect moment to send Tails flying, making his attack all the stronger. Suka smiled, liking the progress thus far. Tails managed to recover and hovered high in the air. "Whoa!" Tails commented in admittance of Luigi's powerful attack. Tails flew around the battlefield from his high altitude. He then went back down and snatched up Luigi before flying back up. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" Luigi panicked as he was lifted higher by his overalls into the air by Tails. "Is he going to drop him?" Mina questioned, slightly paling at the implication. Tails might believe that with such a high altitude that Luigi would perish upon hitting the ground. Ibra responded, Luigi stopped his panic and pulled out his Vanish Power Flower, turning himself invisible. Yay! Vanish Power Flower! Hagakure cheered. Tails stopped his ascent, looking at where he was grabbing, and a question mark appear over his head. Did Luigi go intangible and escape from Tails, and that's why he looks so confused? Nijire questioned. Or Tails is simply confused why Luigi has vanished when Tails feels like he is still holding onto something. Shoji replied. Manga gave a thumbs up to the question mark appearing over Tails' head, a happy emoticon on his own text bubble. Suddenly, a hammer appeared. Just as Tails realized, via the exclamation point in his speech bubble, the hammer knocked the fox away for Luigi to break free. The two fought in the air as they flew/glided down, the invisible Luigi striking with his hammer while Tails pulled out gadgets after gadget, from his magic hand and Enerbeam striking with a hammer, to the magic hand going through his intangible adversary, to Tails getting struck before he could fully pull out his arm cannon. Finally, Tails took out his arm cannon again, but before he could fully charge it, Luigi simply hit him away, Tails forced to retreat back in the air. This is a cool air battle. Uraraka cheered, excited. I know, right? Nijire agreed with her friend. Luigi's hammer can counter Tails' weapons evenly and could keep up in the air with the scuttle jump. Azui nodded, pleased at Luigi holding his own. And it seems the arm cannon needs time to charge, like Luigi's green missile. Melissa noted. That's why Tails couldn't fire it before he was hit. And that one magic hand attack didn't do anything because Luigi phased right through it. Mirio smiled. Your counterpart is fighting almost as good as me, Sun Eater. Amajiki smiled at the compliment. Thanks, Mirio. Amajiki nodded. Though I imagine that my counterpart's prowess in fighting may have come from his older brother. Mirio laughed, delighted at the implication of his own counterpart helping Luigi as much as Mirio did for Amajiki. Luigi, now visible with the Vanish Flower now used up, uses the scuttle jump again, flapping his arms and waving his legs around to land safely. He's almost like a bird trying to land. Ragdoll chuckled. But soon after Luigi landed, Tails, recovered, proceeded to drop multiple bombs down onto the plumber. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Bakuga roared in delight. Blow that plumber away. Hee hee, that's what she said. Mineta seized the opportunity. Unfortunately, that resulted in a smack to the head from Bakugu. The bombs began surrounding the plumber, leaving Luigi to run around in a panic. Luigi then stopped before getting an idea. Got it! He declared, pulling out the Poltergust 5000. The Poltergust? Reiko pointed out, interested. What is he going to do with it? Luigi began running around, sucking up and gathering up the bombs with his Poltergust 5000, bundling them up together before firing all the bombs up at Tails. Ooh, that's smart. Mount Lady tapped the side of her brain. He gathered them up to quickly launch them back at Tails for them to blow up at him. Oh, come on. Just blow already, Bakugu complained. Hee hee, that's what she dash. Mineta cut himself off and raised his hands in surrender at Bakuga's raised fist in warning. However, they were launched, but they were too low to hit Tails, the bomb stopping just barely underneath the flying fox before beginning to fall down. What? Kaminari exclaimed. That's bullshit. Ahahaha. Bakuga laughed at the absurdity. Luigi gaped wide-mouthed and eyed as the bombs began to fall right back down. Ftahahaha. Kuda burst out laughing. That face. Uncle Maki's face looks so funny. Eri giggled too. Amajiki sweat dropped at their laughter, but at least smiled that the two kids were enjoying themselves. Ooh-wah. Luigi panicked again before the bombs fell onto him, his plan backfiring as they blew up one after another. Wea-wah. Luigi cried out as he was blown sky-high. Bakugu and more of the students laughed, adding to Amajiki's embarrassment, just wishing for the earth to swallow him right now. After being launched up, Luigi noticed a pipe down below. His ascent slowing, Luigi stuck out straight into a dive down into it, before then shooting out, covered completely with lightning. He hit Tails with a lightning-powered super jump punch, following it up with a green missile, followed by slamming into him multiple times with Luigi cyclones and hitting him with his hammer. He finished the combo by transferring all of the electricity into his hands, and as Tails fell straight onto him, he unleashed a powerful thunder hand, sending Tails flying away in pain. "Luigi, gotcha!" Luigi taunted, lifting his cap up. "Amazing!" Ryukyu smiled, impressed. He used the momentum of the explosion that sent him flying in his fall to rocket him out that pipe and charge up his lightning abilities to then stun and strike at Tails with enhanced powerful attacks. "Yeah, that was awesome!" Kominari cheered. "Lightning powers for the win." "It's over yet, jamming yay," Kyoko warned. In the distance, Tails groaned but got back on his feet and brought out his Medibot, beginning to heal his wounds. "The Medibot," Melissa smiled. After taking so much damage and being so far away, it would be the perfect time to heal up. Unfortunately, Luigi jumped in, somehow cleared all that distance, and used his poltergust to suck up the Medibot close to him and crushed it with his hammer. "Aha!" Mei screamed in horror at the Medibot's destruction. Sorry," Emajiki offered. Mei was held back by Melissa and Izuku, calming her down with promises to make their own Medibot, while Amajiki whimpered and shivered, curled into a ball and muttering that he had seen the eyes of death. Luigi then pointed the poltergust onto Tails, attempting to suck him in and finish the fight, Tails trying to run away and using his tails to boost his speed. "He's trying to suck him in," Zero exclaimed. "Then it's good that Tails' speed is fast enough to keep him away," Ida commented. But not for long. As he began to slow down, Tails threw his projectile ring at a nearby pipe to keep himself steady, and then tossed back a flashbang that stopped Luigi's poltergust by clogging the nozzle. "It's a flashbang grenade," Hagakure cried out. Tails jumped in the pipe and hid. Luigi looked at the flashbang now clogging the poltergust. "Hello," Luigi nervously called out. The flashbang blows up, leaving the screen all white and a ringing sound clouding the sounds. The students laughed again at the scene. Even Azui croaked in laughter at just how adorable Luigi sounded. The white light and ringing sounds began to fade, with color coming in to see Luigi stumbling dizzy, while Tails, now out of the pipe, was shown behind Luigi tampering with the poltergust. "Aha! Genius inventor work at action," Mei pointed out dramatically. He used the flashbang to stop Luigi's poltergust and stun him in time for Tails to tamper with it. Melissa summarized. "Smart." Luigi came to and spun around, quickly bringing out his hammer. Luigi attempted a swing but was blocked by Tails' shield bot, erecting a blue force field around the young genius. "Yes, the shield bot baby," Mei cheered. "Keep on hitting it because there is no way you are gonna dash." Luigi, unknowingly, cut off Mei by instead quickly destroying the bot itself with his hammer, the shield collapsing. Mei was frozen mid-taunt. Melissa then proceeded to write down a note on making sure the shield bot was able to be inside the force field instead, while Izuku held back Mei from clobbering Luigi's counterpart. "He still has much to learn." David sighed and shook his head at Tails' oversight. "They both still do." Power Loader corrected, seeing the counterpart to Tails being eased away by Sonic's counterpart. Tails jumps away from his broken machinery as Luigi pulled out and broke a smash ball, enveloping him in rainbow-like energy. Tails begins to walk towards Luigi, but the plumber unleashes Negative Zone. Luigi danced as he activated the zone while Tails tripped in slow motion, only barely managing to escape a hit from Luigi's hammer. "Revelry in the dark." The dark reveling trio sounded out. "Okay, that's getting a little creepy." Hananuki's sweat dropped. Tails began to fly up, attempting to escape the field. Luigi pulled out the poltergust again and tried to suck Tails back. However, barely picked up by Luigi as he kept sucking in Tails. He finally noticed the ticking of the bomb placed into the pack of poltergust. "What?" Kirishima and Tetsu exclaimed in confusion. "Genius!" Izuku gazed in awe and wrote the strategy down. Tails wasn't just trying to tamper with the poltergust. He was trying to blow it up with Luigi carrying it. That's why he got up close to him, to keep Luigi going on the offensive, and used the shield bot to stall for time. Brilliant! Momo was also in awe. He must have come up with that strategy just as he was getting sucked into the poltergust the first time. Are we sure that he isn't Midori's counterpart? Mina questioned/teased. Hey, don't underestimate Tamaki, Nijire pointed out. While Zuzu is clearly the best with strategies, there is a reason Tamaki is a member of the Big Three. He may not look it, but he's quite the smart powerhouse. Couldn't agree more, Hado. Fat Gum nodded, looking at his intern/protege proudly. You guys, Amajiki muttered as he tried to hide his blush. Luigi stopped and tried to throw it away at Tails, only for the pack to be sailing slowly just like Tails. And because the negative zone makes everyone inside other than Luigi sluggish, the pack is also sluggish when away from Luigi. Oyama noted, that is not good for him. Unfortunately for the two, the explosion occurred and sent both fighters flying out of the field. Luigi was sent hurtling through the air, sliding to a stop in front of a pipe, groggy from the explosion. But as he got up, Tails quickly ran up to Luigi, his tails on fire briefly, and looking very angry. Oh shit, he's pissed. Setsuna snickered. Wouldn't you if you got hit point blank with an explosion? Nas. Setsuna raised an eyebrow and pointed down. When San looked to see her pointing at Bakugu, he was quickly reminded who her team went up against in the joint training class. Oh, yeah, San muttered. Aha, was Setsuna's only reply. With Luigi backed up against the pipe, the two stood face to face. Tails crouched and Luigi readied his hammer to squash Tails and end the fight, but was not fast enough as the magic hand quickly rocketed out of nowhere, impaling Luigi straight through the abdomen and warp pipe, ending the battle. Yes! The two inventor girls cheered, with the rest of the Tails voters. God damn it! Kaminari groaned, slumped defeated in his seat, while the other Luigi voters just sighed and groaned, respectively. Yo! Tails goes to heal himself with another Medibot as blood still pours out of Luigi's impaled body. Well, at least it was one of the least gruesome deaths so far. Mirio tried to pull out a bright side to this. Amajiki still passed out, horrified at seeing what essentially another version of himself was impaled by magic boxing glove. And there he goes. Nijire sweat dropped. Well, there goes the year of Luigi. Boomstick groaned, disappointed. While Luigi technically has more combat experience, and has survived being Nintendo's whipping boy, Tails' skills and arsenal were more than the green-capped plumber can handle. Wiz began the results. His training with Sonic makes him faster, and his superior mobility gave him complete control over the battlefield. Boomstick pointed out the mobility advantage. True, Izawa nodded. The entire open battlefield was simply more in favor of Tails' aerial prowess, and his speed outpaced and governed the battle while Luigi had to play catch-up. Also, he has an outrageous IQ of 300, which is about as much as Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking combined. Wiz revealed, impressed. That's actually very impressive, Mizu acknowledged. Not nearly intelligent as I, of course, or even smarter than Donatello from the Ninja Turtles, who had an IQ of 637. Well, the boy is still young at 11 years old and is likely to get even smarter as he matures. All Might pointed out. Very true. Nizu nodded. Hell, Tails is stronger too. Boomstick chuckled. He can move 10 tons, while Luigi struggles to lift a large radish. I guess the strength mostly went to your counterpart, Togata. Kirishima rubbed his neck. I suppose. Mirio chuckled nervously, as he and Nijire tried to wake up the fainted Amajiki. And Tails' gadgets more than make up for any of his weaknesses. Wiz added. His mechanic expertise could disable the poltergust with needed time. His long-range weaponry kept Luigi at a distance, and it's clear that even if we added Super Tails and star-powered Luigi, the results would be the same to Mario vs. Sonic. Looks like Luigi was outfoxed. Boomstick made his pun. Couldn't they have just used that one in Fox vs. Bucky? Mina asked. Yeah, but remember that Fox wasn't as cunning as Bucky, so it wouldn't make any sense. Azui croaked out an answer. Also, the choked pun added to the gruesomeness of his death. Oh right, Mina said, turning a shade green at the memory of Bucky's death. The winner is Miles Tails Prower, Wiz announced. The Tails voters let out one last cheer while the losers clapped in respect and admitted loss. Finally, Amajiki woke up. Well, what happened? Majiki asked. Your counterpart got impaled by magic boxing glow dash. Mirio quickly cut Nijire off from finishing her sentence at Amajiki paling again. You lost, Mirio simply said. But your counterpart fought amazingly, bro. I'm proud to have you as my brother in blood in that other universe. Amajiki smiled brightly at Mirio's words. Plus, we both got gruesomely impaled or torn into by Midoriya and Hatsum, Mirio cheerfully pointed out. And Amajiki went down again. Oops. Mirio's sweat dropped. So, are you not going to kill him? Melissa asked May. Nah, the score was settled here, May declared. Besides, if I was mad anytime someone destroyed one of my babies, I would probably hate Muscles with the number of gloves he busted. You know you would never hate him, right? Melissa pointed out. Yeah, true, May sighed. He's too cute, kind and handsome. Next time on Death Battle, Boomstick began to announce the next fight. As the white words of next time faded into the dark background, 3 Pokeballs rolled into frame. The one in the middle opened up and released a white light that covered the screen, before the words came up in black. Pokemon Battle Royal. Venusaur vs Charizard vs Blastoise. Yes, it's another Pokemon battle. Kaminari cheered, excited. And a battle royal at that between the first 3 starter Pokemon of the whole franchise. Kyoka smirked. How about that? Really? Momo inquired. Well, I suppose this would be appropriate enough for Todoroki, Ida, and myself to learn more about this Pokemon game and world. Alright, you 3 haven't played Pokemon before. Hagakure remembered. Yep, that's still sad. Setsuna called out before acting pompous. But hey, at least we get educate you 3 plebeians further. I swear we'll never hear the end of this. Momo groaned, rubbing her forehead. I'm afraid you might be correct. Ida groaned as well, his arm reaching high chopping speeds. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Play it, Mina called out. May looked up to receive the nod from Nizu before clicking play.